development of the practical work. As we all know that developing countries need to be developed, its workforce has to be well equipped with technical, or we can say hard skills, as well as the soft skills. And in order to ensure that, the education sector must need to adapt its challenges so that their technical graduates or the students who pass from the technical education must possess some kind of the skills. For example, critical thinking, independent in their inquiry and investigation, possesses some kind of some kind of the intellectual values in their behavior, as well as effective and efficient in their performance. So for producing technical graduate and engineers of this type of nature, there is an urgent requirement of a close collaboration of industry with academia. When the industry and academia are collaborated with each other, means we require different kind of practical skills among our student. So this particular session deal how to effectively plan, organize and evaluate practical component that is present in our curriculum of technical graduate. So the first is, what is practical work? Any participant from any center, according to your viewpoint, what do you mean by an practical activity? Government Engineering College, Hassan.
Ma'am, where the students works with the practical experience on hands-on sessions, we call it as a practical sessions.
Hands-on sessions. Thank you very much, sir. Now I move to SJ Polytechnic. JSS. JSS Polytechnic, Mysore.
Learning by practicing, madam. Not audible.
Am I audible to the center?
Audible, but you are not hearing our voice. Learn by practicing. It means learn by practicing.
Your voice is not clear to us, sir.
Learn by practicing, madam. Learn by practicing.
Learn by practicing. Thank you very much. So the basic purpose of an education is to bring about a desirable change in the behavior of the learner. When I said the behavior change in the learner means some kind of knowledge enhancement in the learner, development of different kind of skills in the learner, and there must be an. So the basic purpose of an education, or the education, deals with why things happen. In our theoretical classes, in our lectures or in our tute, we deal with the component that is why, and the practical component always deals with how the things happen. So as rightly added by different centers, that practical activity is an hands-on experience. But what actually happens in our institutions? Practical activity is a teacher's demonstration, class practical with all the learners on a similar kind of a task, working in a small group, engaged in different kind of activities, investigating, organized in one of the above or two ways, and problem solving activities. Problem solving activity means, simple definition of practical work means it consists of a practical activities consists of a task which involves the direct experience of the learner with different kind of the material, resources, equipment or apparatus at hand, and it helps in acquisition of the knowledge among the learner and development of an attitude among the learner. When the students are involved into doing some kind of an practical activity, mostly the students are divided into groups. When the students act into different groups and performing various activities, means there is a development of soft skills among the student. So practical activity always enhances the knowledge component, that is technical as well as the soft skills among the student, and there is a development of attitude among the students. But in actual practices, as written on this slide, in colleges it is being criticized as impersonal type of the work. Impersonal type of the work means the practical activity is totally demonstrated by the faculty, or by the lab instructor, and students just following that cooked recipe delivered by the faculty to them. There is no independent inquiry, there is no chance of judgment and development of creativity among the student when they are involved into such type of practical activity. So in real practices, the practical work is converted into small activities or series of small events, and a different pieces of the knowledge are given to the student, and those are again dominated by the faculty or by the instructor. So this kind of practical work totally inhibiting the personality development of the student and affect the aspiration level of the student. In real practices, the practical work must be like the learning experience in which the students interact with the material or with the secondary sources of the data to observe and understand the natural world. And in literature, there are a number of the terms that is being used for the term practical work. For example, some literature suggested practical and inquiry skills. Some say mention practical activity as practical or investigative work or practical and experimental work. And the research suggests that instead of using the laboratory work, when we said lab class, the right word used for the development of the psychomotor ability among the student is the practical activity. Means laboratory is a space, the name of a particular space, and space doesn't play a critical role in the development of the knowledge or development of the attitude among the student. It is the activity which mainly focus on the development of the different kind of the skills among the student. So the right term used for the development of the different kind of the skills among the students is practical work instead of the laboratory work. So this is about the definition of the practical work. Now what are the different types of practical activity? First type of the practical activity is experience type of an practical activity, exercises type of practical activity, investigation and demonstration type of an practical activity. When I said experience type of practical activity, experience type of practical activity basically intended to give the students a feel of the real working environment, in which the student experiences new thing and practices those phenomena by their own. These kind of practical activities are considered as experience type of an practical activity. Any participant from any center would like to give an example of experience type of practical activity being conducted at their institution level? Yes, from K.R. Mangalam University. What are the various experience type of practical activity in which your students are involved?
Hello, madam.
Yes, yes, sir.
Madam, what we do in our classes. Hello, madam.
Yes, from K.R. Mangalam University.
Yes, ma'am. From K.R. Mangalam University.
Hello, madam. Good morning.
I request all the centers to kindly one at a time. Now I am connecting to K.R. Mangalam University.
Yes, Khera, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible to us.
And in experience, I'm taking a lot of accounting and finance classes. So instead, I give them a simple case study. They can collect expenses, revenues, and they can make their own balance sheets. And
in which semester, sir?
In semester 2.
In semester 2. Second. Thank you very much, sir. दूसरा सेंटर कौन सा था?
Madam, hello.
ST Government Polytechnic, Bangalore. Yes, sir. Government Engineering College, Haveri.
Madam, what we do. Good morning, madam.
Morning. Good morning, sir.
Madam, what we do is now I am handling a subject called reinforced cement concrete, civil engineering.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Usually, whenever I am teaching, I take them to the site, okay, to show the reinforcements and all. So it is the case with all of our staff members also. In sense, whatever is possible in the existing site, we take them and show them, madam. That is what we do.
Yes, very rightly added by both of the center, that an environment which gives the student a feel of the real working experiences. So experience type of activity in which the student is actually involved and experiences new kind of phenomena which they have already learned in their theory classes. Second type of activity is exercises. Exercises are designed to develop some kind of practical skills and techniques among the student. The very simple example of exercises type of activities, for example, when the students are involved into workshops. In their first year, when the students are doing workshop activity, they are actually designing some kind of practical skills and techniques. Third type of practical activity is investigation. Investigation is basically to reinforce the theoretical understanding and opportunity to the student to handle more open-ended type of the task. These type of activities are conducted with the help of major as well as minor projects assigned to the student, in which the students are investigating something by defining some kind of an problem by themselves, or sometimes the faculty decided the problem for their students. Next is demonstration type of an activity. Demonstration type of an activity is just to reinforce the theoretical understanding. For example, when the students are involved into different lab classes for physics and chemistry. For physics and chemistry, when they are involved into some kind of testing or some kind of investigation, they are actually reinforcing the theoretical understanding they have already learned in their classes. So these are some of the examples. And in third and fourth semester, when the students are involved into the subjects like fluid mechanics, heat transfer, microcontroller, microprocessor, these kind of activities in which the students are investigating as well as the students are doing some kind of an experience of the real working environment. So these are the basic classification and different types of the practical activity in which our technical graduates are occupied. Another type of an practical activity which is also help to development of psychomotor skills among the student. For example, looking at different YouTube videos. When the students are involved into looking at different kind of the video, this is a passive learning environment for the student, but yes, by doing some kind of an observation, and there is a development of a critical thinking among the students. The students are involved into the process of observation as well as judgment. Another type of activity, as rightly added by Government Engineering College Haveri, field visit or industrial visit. When the students are involved into going to the industries, they are having experience of real working environment. Doing experimental work into their classes. When the students are involved into some design, evaluation and analysis related kind of problems. In that scenario also there is a development of some kind of skills among the student. So by learning these types of the practical work, this is clear that practical work deal with the cognitive area of the learner, psychomotor area of the learner and affective domain of the learner. Cognitive area means the mental processes, the development of the knowledge among the learner. Psychomotor means when the students are involved into doing something, there is a development of physical skills among the student. Affective means how the student respond to different activities and different problems, how the student behave into group or behave in a team, how he or she able to handle the problem by themselves, and optimum utilization of resources, optimum utilization of the space that is available to them in their lab environment. So practical component help to development of the cognitive, psychomotor or affective domain of the learner. Next is what is the scenario of a technical institute. In the curriculum institutions, or we can say in technical institutions, the large amount of the time, approximately 40% of the time is allotted to the various practical component in their curriculum. And these practical components are drawing work, laboratory work, workshop or different internship projects, which can include minor project, major project, industrial visits as well as field visit. So what is the basic purpose of a practical work? Now I move to BVSS Polytechnic Bagalkot. BVSS Polytechnic Bagalkot. Am I audible to sir? You, sir?
Am I audible, madam? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. So what is the basic purpose of the practical work for the technical graduate according to your viewpoint? Any participant from your center?
Anybody would like to respond to this motion? Madam, in my it is to inculcate that particular knowledge into the students and make it confident. That's why the practical works are being done.
Thank you very much. Now I move to GATE Academy Bhubaneswar. Connect ही हुए अभी. So am I audible to GATE Academy Bhubaneswar? Screen भी share नहीं है. Okay. So I request the participant that present with us in the studio. What is the basic purpose of the practical work according to your viewpoint?
Basic purpose is mainly making students learn more effectively.
Learn more effectively.
Like you are from the pyramid of learning. So in that, if the student demonstrates something or does something, then his learning is 90%. So I think by doing practical, the student can achieve 90%.
Up to 90%. Yes. Rightly added by two of our participants who are present with us in the studio that the basic purpose of our practical work is to learn by doing. Means practical activities and hands-on and brain-on experience for the learner. And when the students are involved into doing some kind of a practical activity, there is a better theoretical understanding of the different concepts and fundamentals of various subjects. So the basic purpose means the student have a feel of the real working environment, and there is a ability of among the students to work into different teams and work into different groups. Another basic purpose of practical work is the development of the different kind of the skills. These are not only the logical and reasoning methods of thinking. When the students are involved into analyzing, observing and collecting different type of the data, involved into different practical activity, there is a development of the critical thinking among the students that how to collect and how to analyze the data. Computing, estimating, costing when they are dealing with the different sets of data, and there is a development of the managerial kind of the skills among the students. When the student acts in the group or in a team, there is an enhancement of various soft skills among the student, how to use different kind of the resources available to them, how to work in a limited kind of a space, how to deal with another team members, and how to make the job completed within the prescribed time period. So again, there is a development of different kind of managerial skills among the student if the practical work is properly planned and manageable by the faculty. So these are the various advantages of the practical work. It's an hands-on training, expose the student to the real work culture and practices, and provide opportunity to apply different theories they have already learned in their theory classes and help the student when they go into the real working environment. These are the basic problems in the skill development among the students in our technical institution. Students in general in our technical institutions are not doing enough practical work. The practical work is already predefined with the help of the syllabus, or sometimes the minor and major projects are decided by the faculty. So they are not doing much of the practical activity in and outside the classroom environment. And the major problems that our technical institutions are dealing with, the business environment is different as compared to the infrastructure provided at their institution level. So there is a lack of resources, or we can say under resources lab are available at our institution level. And teachers complain that there is a maximum pressure for the faculty to complete their syllabus on the time. Another problems faced by the faculty is there is no professional training given to the teachers regarding the advancement happening into the business environment. So if the faculty is not trained enough, how can they train the students for and get them ready for the world of the work? So basic problems are sometimes time available for the skill development is very less. Time available for skill development means during the preparing of the time schedule for the various semesters, depending upon the infrastructure availability, depending upon the time slot of the faculty, labs are just fixed depending upon all these parameters. So the lab component is not considered very much important at the institution level. Wherever possible, the lab periods are to be fixed by the faculty depending upon the resources and depending upon the availability of the faculty. Another major disadvantage is in technical institution more focus is on the theory classes. The pressure on the faculty is to complete the syllabus on the time and to have better results, and they are preparing for their lecture classes. The lab classes are always handled, most of the time handled by the instructor. The instructor only demonstrating the practical activity to the student, and students are doing the same practical activity. And absence of the feedback. How you evaluate your practical work? Now my question to the participant is, how you evaluate or assess your practical activity? When you evaluate and when you assess, at the end of the practical activity, at the end of the semester, or there are slots fixed by the faculty at the end of each practical activity?
This is from Hassan. We will evaluate always from the end of each experiment.
Each experiment. Yes, any center would like to share their experience?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
We are from C.V. Raman College of Engineering. We assess the students how much they have understood at the end of each practical class.
At the end of each practical activity.
In the form of asking them some questions on the experiments as well as on the tools which they use, and fundamental concepts involving the subjects.
Thank you very much, sir. Any another center? K.R. Mangalam University.
At the end of each practical. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. At the end of each practical activity,
yes,
with the help of various question answer sessions.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Where a feedback form, they take it. Feedback form.
When you evaluate or assess different kind of practical activity at the end of each experiment, means the feedback is given to the student when they are performing the whole activity at their own. This kind of evaluation and this kind of assessment does not improve the skills among the student. When the student are actually performing that particular activity, it is the responsibility of the faculty as well as the instructor present into the lab to check how they are performing, which team member is involving and doing 100% when performing that particular activity, and what kind of a managerial skills, what kind of an performance ability is developed among the student, what are the loopholes need to be fixed by the student while doing that particular practical activity. If the feedback is given at the end of the task, that feedback will not serve a purpose in terms of the skill development among the student. When the student are performing that particular activity, try to evaluate and try to assess that practical activity on that time period. At the end of the practical activity, when you are checking the or evaluating your student, you are just checking the results and conclusions drawn by the student, not how they perform that particular practical activity. It can be possible that your student manipulate the whole data and give correct result to the faculty. So being in faculty, it's a responsibility to check the practical activity or evaluate practical activity when they are performing that particular practical activity. So these are the basic problems in the skill development sector or in our technical institutions. Next comes to the planning of the practical work. Planning of the practical work. The quality of the practical work is varies considerably from stream to stream, means different branches deal with the different component of an practical activity. If the practical activity is well planned and effectively implemented, in that case it stimulates the experience of the learner. It engages the student both at physical level and at mental level. So effective planning of an practical work is again an important component. And these are the three parameters need to be considered when we are planning practical activity. First is, what is the purpose, aim, or is there any need to reconceptualization of an practical activity? Generally, the aim classified for an practical activity is an one objective or a one aim for a single kind of an practical activity. But what are the various kind of the knowledge parameter and what kind of the skill development is need to be done under that particular objective? Means if the practical activity involve only the collection of the data and analysis of the data, means there is a development of the computing skills among the student and there is a development of some kind of an critical thinking among the student. But in design related activity, there is an evaluation, analysis and synthesis involved in that particular practical activity. So while defining aim, always identify what are the various knowledge parameter need to be developed and what are the various skills need to be developed under that particular objective of the practical activity. Again, there are three major components need to be considered. First one is the cognitive argument of that particular practical activity. When we said cognitive argument of that particular practical activity, cognitive argument means is that particular practical activity able to discussing how we can effectively plan practical activity. So the first component we was considering at that time is the purpose and the aim of that particular activity, and there are three different arguments need to be considered when we deciding the various knowledge as well as the skill parameter for the development of that particular practical activity among the learner. The first basic argument is the cognitive argument of that particular practical activity. Cognitive argument need to be considered that when we are deciding the aim or the objective of that particular practical activity, is that practical activity able to improve the theoretical understanding of various concepts, various laws and techniques that they have learned in their theory classes. So practical activity must able to affirm the laws, able to affirm various theories they have already learned in their theoretical classes. The second argument need to be considered while defining the aim or objective of the practical activity is the effective argument of an practical activity. If the student feel motivated and exciting and the practical activity designed by the faculty is able to generate the interest and enthusiasm among the student, only then the student will feel totally involved and engaged in that particular practical activity. And that kind of practical activity help the student to remember the things and help the student to remember those kind of the things and make it stick to their mind. So again, the effective argument is need to be considered when designing and planning and practical activity for the student. Third major part for defining the objective or aim of the practical activity is the skill argument of the practical activity. In this session, by now we are clear that the practical activity is able to develop the hard skills, that is technical skills among the student as well as the soft skills among the student. So how you divide your class student into number of groups or number of teams, and how these teams affect the soft skill among the individual. So while defining the aim and objective of a practical activity, the practical activity able to promote the higher order skills among the students and some kind of transferable skills. For example, observation, prediction, inferences and analysis of the different kind of data. So when there is a development of an higher order skills among the student and students are doing manipulative and developing number of the manual skills while doing that particular practical activity, there is a development of hard skills as well as the soft skills among the students. Second major component need to be considered while deciding the while planning of an practical activity is the place of the practical work within the curriculum. Place of practical work in the curriculum means there is a major gap what is written into the curriculum and what is actually happening into the lab environment. So first thing need to be considered is the faculty objective or is the instructional objective defined for that particular course is matched with the particular practical activity, how the practical activity need to be conducted by the faculty member, and what are the student expectations of that particular practical activity. Because sometimes the student fail to proceed the conceptual as well as the theoretical understanding of that particular activity, and they are not at all aware of why they are doing that particular practical activity. When the instructional objective or the objective of the particular activity is totally defined by the faculty to the student, only then the student will able to achieve those particular goal. Third major component need to be considered while defining the practical activity is the role of the teachers and the role of the student. So while planning, according to your viewpoint, what is the role of the teacher when he or she is delivering any kind of practical activity into the classroom environment? What is the role of the faculty in the lab classes?
The teacher has to cite where this utility or practical work will be useful.
You are from which center, ma'am?
Sivinaman Bhubaneswar.
Thank you very much. So the teacher need to identify what are the real application of that particular practical activity. And any another participant from any center?
From Hassan.
Yes, Government Engineering College, Hassan.
A teacher has to connect between relationship between theory and practical.
What is the linkages between theoretical and practical activity?
Whatever they have learned in theory, the same thing has to begin in practical work.
Thank you very much. So the basic role of the faculty is to allow the student to generate their own ideas sometimes. There is no need to demonstrate each and every practical activity again and again to the student when the written manual are already available into the labs and they have already learned number of the theories into their theory classes. So sometimes allow the student to do independent inquiry work. No need to demonstrate the whole activity again and again. By doing this, the student will able to handle different problems by their own and allow the student to collect, analyze and calculate the data without the help of an faculty or without the help of an instructor. When the students are discussing different number of ideas within their group, lots of ideas are generated in that particular practical activity. The faculty need to facilitate the learning environment, not to dominate each and every step into the lab environment. So the basic role of the faculty is to always design open-ended type of an problem, always try to identify what are the various scientific processes for the collection of the data or what are the various software available which will help the student to analyze and evaluate the data. And in question answer session, when the faculty posed question to the student into their lab classes, always design the question with a scientific understanding. Are the student able to understand the basic and fundamental aspect of that particular practical activity? Once the fundamental aspect of that particular practical activity is cleared, the student are able to handle more problems at their own level. So this is the basic process when we are planning a practical activity for the student. So please come at my end. So when we are assessing a practical activity, these are the different components need to be considered. First one is what are the teacher's objective. Teacher objective means what the faculty or what the students are intended to learn with that particular practical activity. Next is design features. Design feature of task, details or context means what the student have to do with that particular practical activity, or what are the activity specifications. What they actually do. What they actually do means what are the various classroom events and what they actually learn. What are the various learning outcomes. Now comes to the first part, that is the teacher objective. The teacher objective can be that my student must be able to understand a piece of the data or the piece of the knowledge by doing some kind of an inquiry or investigative type of an skill. Means what type of an inquiry and investigation in which my students are involved while doing that particular practical activity. That can be collection of the data, that can be analysis of the data, and that can be an interpretation of the data, or understanding of a different working component of any machine or any apparatus. So first we need to define what was the faculty or what was the developer objective of that particular practical activity. Next component is, that is B, what are the activity specification. Activity specification means the task that enable the student to achieve the learning objective that are fixed by the faculty or by the demonstrator. In our lab experiments, the first thing is, what is the aim of the practical activity? What are the different resources used for the practical activity? What are the methods, how we calculate the data, and what type of the results are to be concluded? This is the simple activity specification of any lab environment. How the student is able to achieve that particular objective. Next is what they actually do. Classroom event. What they actually do means it can be somewhat similar or different from the faculty objective. The faculty fix the objective differently for the student, but student, when they are discussing ideas into their group, it can be possible number of ideas are generated into the mind of the student, and those ideas are different from the demonstration given by the faculty or by the instructor. So activity classroom events can be different. It can be possible that from the group of 3 or 4 students, only one student is performing that particular activity and other students are just analyzing that practical activity. So what is activity specification and what are the various classroom events? That can be totally different or somewhat different from the objectives of the faculty, and it can be possible that the student might understand the whole concept that is demonstrated by the faculty, but when he start doing or performing that particular practical activity, the apparatus was not correct. There was a faulty apparatus, or the prevention or the safety precautions are not taken properly by the student. In that scenario, classroom events are different from the activity specification. Means, or mental process can be different from the physical activity. Students are performing that particular practical activity, but in his or her mind, there are number of ideas and number of confusions arising due to that particular practical activity. And what they actually learn, what are the learning outcomes of the student, means what are the consequences of understanding of that particular task. So faculty objectives are always combined with the learning outcomes. Means what was the objective fixed by the faculty, is the student able to achieve and understand that whole concept given by the faculty member. And if the number of ideas are generated into the mind of the student, is the faculty give proper time to the student to clear their misunderstanding regarding that particular practical activity. This performance level is considered as learning level of the student. What the faculty actually decided and what they actually learn with that particular practical activity. Activity specification again match with classroom events. This level of learning is known as doing level for the learners. Doing level of the learner means observation. First part, in activity specification, the faculty will observe the whole event at their own end and design the total activity, and when he or she is involved into assessment or evaluation of that particular practical activity, what are the various parameters need to be considered when you are evaluating that particular practical activity. So learning level is need to be matched and doing level is need to be matched, so that the proper assessment of the practical activity must be conducted at the institution level. And when we are doing assessment of the practical work, there are three major areas need to be considered. First one is the student view. Nowadays, the students are very much different. They have number of ideas and number of information available at their own ends. New number of ideas are generated by the student. So the practical work is designed according to their satisfaction level. Are the student feel motivated and engaged with that particular practical activity, or they are doing just for the sake of getting marks from the faculty? If you need to develop some kind of skills among the student, the business environment. Next is employer view. The business environment demand two skills from the student. First one is the technical or the hard skills, and second one is the soft skills. And business environment consider that the technical graduate already covered all kind of hard skills at their institution level, and if required they will provide the training according to their own interest. So hard skill are not at all much important from business or employer point of view. What they look from the technical graduate is a different kind of soft skills among the students. So there is an urgent need for the close collaboration between the industry and academia for the development of the soft skills. And if the students are able to work into different groups and teams in their practical classes, then there is a development of generic skills among the students. Next is academician view. Academician view means the view of the faculty. When the faculty is evaluating and assessing the practical work, this is only according to the criteria that is fixed at their departmental or at their institution level. There are certain parameters need to be fixed at the departmental level, means number of assessment for that particular practical activity, means within one semester how much assessment is need to be carried out for a single practical activity. Second parameter is what are the various parameters, hard skill component and soft skills component. What are the weightage given to these two major skills related to that particular practical activity? In soft skills area, basically communication level, confidence level and commitment level of the student is need to be checked by the faculty. And what are the how to check the performance of the student for that particular under that particular criteria. Means if you divide your class into number of the group, how you assess individual performance within that particular group. So these are the three viewpoints need to be considered. And assessment of practical work, basically two components are considered. First one is the personal attitude of the student and working attitude of the student. And assessment is again divided into four different components. First one is the process evaluation. Process evaluation means proficiency and efficiency of the student to perform that particular practical activity, or what are the quality of the jobs generated by the student, what kind of the projects handled by the student at their own end. Product evaluation, quality of the product. If the student is able to generate some kind of data and able to withdraw solution from that particular practical activity, what is the quality of that particular product. Behavioral component of the student, and at the end fundamental and basics of that particular practical activity. So number of techniques are available for the assessment of the practical activity. We divided these techniques into two different parts, that is individual technique as well as the group technique. Group technique are generally conducted at the end of an practical activity or at the end of the semester when the students are involved into final practical examination. Basically in final practical examination, first the student will perform that particular practical activity, then observe and analyze different kind of the data, and there is a evaluation of their report writing submitted to the faculty. This is multiple assessment technique, also known as final practical examination. When we are checking the performance of an individual student, in case of the performance individual student, first one need to check the inquiry skills of the student, how they perform that particular practical activity, what is the level of their working attitude while performing that practical activity, how they able to collect the data, how they able to analyze, and how they able to represent the data to the faculty. Some kind of the data are well represented with the help of an graph. Some type of data is well represented with the help of various numerical equations, means how the student will present data to the faculty. So for regular assessment, individual inquiry techniques need to be focused, and in final examination, multiple technique, means inquiry plus observation plus analysis of different documents need to be considered while performing that particular practical activity. So this is regarding the assessment of an practical activity, and these are the various skills essentials for technical student. First one is how to handle various materials, tools, equipments and apparatus. Are they able to read and interpret with different engineering drawings? What kind of an skill developed among the student? Is there a critical thinking development of an logical thinking, or some kind of an computing thinking among the computing skills development among the student, or the development of the various managerial skills? Up to now, is there any question from any center? Up to this, we have discussed the definition, different types, planning and assessment of an practical work. Is there any doubt regarding these different points?
Ma'am, excuse me, madam.
Yes, sir.
From Gate Barambur, my question is regarding three kinds of arguments you have told. One is cognitive, affective, and skill argument. Under skill argument, you said that there are two kinds of skill: hard skill and soft skill. My question is that in a practical lab, just like a computer lab or any mechanical engineering lab, what are the examples of soft skills you are talking about?
What are the? You are from which institute, sir?
Gate Barambur.
Technology, Barambur, Orissa.
When we divided in our laboratory classes, we divided the class student into number of the groups. When the student are handling different activity into group, means there is a discussion among the student. Then and the student can ask the question to the faculty as well as to the instructor. Means there is a development of an confidence among the student regarding that particular practical activity. Another issue is when the students are divided into group. The group activity involve one leader and other followers, and how the student distribute the whole job among the group, and who is the leader of that particular group, and how the student are performing that particular practical activity. What kind of resources are available to the student, what kind of time period available to the student, how the student able to manage within that particular time period and within that limited resources available to the student. So by doing the group activity or the team activity, the student able to develop different kind of and managerial skills among the student. So this is regarding the development of the soft skills among the student. Am I clear, sir? Gate Academy, am I clear, sir?
Yes, madam. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any question from any center? Yes, from this particular studio, any question from the participant side? So we move to the different components of the practical work. First component for the practical work is an laboratory work. Laboratory environment always provide the opportunity, or there is a direct experience that facilitate the development of the cognitive as well as the psychomotor skills among the student. Means what the student have learned into their theory classes and how they able to apply those fundamental and theory in their laboratory environment. Laboratory environment is divided into three different categories. First one is controlled exercises, experimental investigation and the research project. Controlled exercises means the demonstrations that is given by the faculty member and students are just following those demonstrations. These type of exercises are considered as controlled exercises in which the surrounding environment is controlled by the faculty in charge of that particular lab environment. Next is the experimental investigation, when the students are involved into some kind of designing activity. When there is some kind of prototype designing, or there is an activity related to investigation. For example, in fluid mechanics laboratory, those activities are considered as experimental type of investigation. In mass transfer laboratories, activities are considered as experimental investigation. Students are performing some kind of experimental activity and generating different conclusions from that particular activity. Next kind of activity that can be happen into lab environment is different kind of an research projects. Research project can be major as well as minor project assigned by the faculty to the student. When the students are involved into doing some kind of an research project, means they are able to handle open-ended problem by their own. These kind of activities are considered as research projects. And level of investigation is level 0, 1, 2 and 3. Level 0 means students just following the cooked recipe provided by the faculty. Level 1 means students are performing the particular experimental activity that is already prescribed into their written manuals. Level 2 means students are performing an experimental activity and analyzing some kind of an data. Level 3 will represent student will identify the problem, identify different kind of resources and methods, and then able to generate the result and able to design any prototype for that particular practical activity. And these are the various objectives of that particular laboratory environment. First is integration of the theoretical knowledge with the practice, study of various experimental methods, selection, use and operation of various instruments and accessories, finding alternatives and selection of appropriate material and procedures for testing and other study, and interpretation of data. And these are some suggestions regarding laboratory work for the teacher. First one is objective of each experiment, development and use of the lab manual. They should identify the institutions and organizations where the specific practical work has got to be done in case the facility is not available at their institution level. And teachers should first demonstrate all the experiment, and then students should be asked to perform the experiment, record the observation and interpret the test results individually or into a group. Preparation of the schedule and record the progress of the each student. Readiness of the equipment beforehand, preferably individual performance, and if possible not more than 2 to 3 students into a group. Students should not be asked to write theory, procedure, prepare drawings and sketches of the equipment that are already available into practical laboratory. Instead, they should be kept busy into performing that particular practical activity into the lab class. Means the printed manual of the prescribed syllabus activity need to be given to the students, so that in their actual time they are performing that particular practical activity instead of writing the theory again and again. And check the lab report and provide feedback immediately. For a planning component, at faculty level, number of experiments planned, executed at the mid of the semester and at the end of the semester. New experimented added. Is there any new experiment need to be added into that particular practical classes? Number of the test and the viva voces conducted for that particular practical activity, planned and executed up to the mid semester, and review taken at the end of the semester. Any additional facility or equipment required for the smooth conduct of the laboratory. Availability of the updated lab manual at the beginning of the semester. Suggestions and recommendation for the improvement of the lab manual, experiments, if any, at the end of mid semester or end semester. This is for the improvement of the smooth conduct of the laboratory in coming semester. Student feedback taken at the mid of the semester, and what are the actions taken by the faculty for the improvement of the lab as well as the improvement of the practical activity. And identification of the weaker student and corrective actions taken by the faculty within the semester along with their marks record. And assessment of laboratory work is divided into 4 different components. First one is the process evaluation, means how the student performing that particular practical activity. Are they able to carry out the experiment, handling the equipment, and how they observe and record various data. Second component is quality of product evaluation, behavioral component part of the learner and basic understanding regarding that particular laboratory activity. Evaluation of an laboratory work and sheet for an individual student. The activities are decided along with their rating scales. I have used this rating scale, but you can directly use the numerical scale for the student. Initial preparation for selection of the instrument, layout of the equipment, observation details, performance detail, presentation of the lab report, and maintenance of the working area after the completion of experiment. So this is all about the laboratory work. Next component is the drawing work. Drawing is considered as a language of an engineer. It is interpretation of the engineering drawing is compulsory for all the engineering branches. The main purpose of the evaluation of the drawing work is the student able to read and interpret the drawing correctly. How the faculty can improve various drawing work at their institution level. The first point need to be considered is the faculty should not give finished drawing to the student. Student should encourage to draw a full drawing. Student should make a few drawing in each semester by making use of graphical softwares. Teacher should give drawing with missing items, views, or inaccurate drawing, and student should ask to identify the gaps in the drawing. And exercise should be given on the end on reading and interpreting of engineering drawing. And evaluation of the drawing work is again divided into process evaluation, product evaluation, behavior of the student, and viva voce of the student. So this is all about the practical work. Another major practical component are the workshop practices, practical training, field work, and project work. In our afternoon session today, there is a task on an practical activity, rubrics and practical activity. Means we have to design the evaluation of any one of the practical activity with the help of an evaluation tool that is known as rubric. So what do you mean by an rubric process? In this particular session, we have divided our assessment of the practical work into 4 different components. That is product evaluation, process evaluation, behavior of the student, and viva voce of the student. In 21st century, the learner always demands a transparent process of an evaluation system. Here is an example that sometimes the student come to you with the same kind of an assignment. Means if the student is copied a same assignment from another student, for example, student A and B, both have done same kind of an assignment by copying from each other. And while evaluating that particular assignment, for A student, the faculty assign him 8 marks, and for B student, the faculty by evaluation gave him 6 marks. The students come to you and ask you a question why his or her assignment got 8 marks and same assignment got 6 marks. Means there is a major drawback into our evaluation system. The objectivity and validity of our evaluation system is not there. To improve that particular objectivity and to introduce a transparency into the evaluation system, there is an evaluation tool that is known as an rubric. Rubric is basically a scoring tool that explicitly represents the performance expectation for an assignment or an piece of the work. I have given you an example of an rubric. for your easy understanding. For example, for evaluating the seminar work of my student, what are the various assessment parameters need to be fixed by the faculty? For the preparation of an particular seminar work, the student will prepare presentation. Information need to be collected by the student. There is a utilization of different kind of an visual aids by the student, and at the end of that particular seminar activity, there is a question answer session. Question can be asked by the faculty or by the student of the class. Means a single activity, that is seminar work. Seminar work will include these much of dimensions: presentation skills, information collected, utilization of an visual aid, and class participation. On the basis of these dimensions, the faculty need to evaluate that particular seminar activity. So the faculty will decide the grade or the rating scale for that particular activity. For this, while preparing this particular rubric sheet, I have decided the scale from excellent to poor. Excellent will represent the highest marks, that is above 81%, and poor will represent the marks that is less than 40%. Means I divided my single activity into number of dimensions, and on the basis of the dimension I have decided my rating scales, and depending upon the performance of the student I will evaluate my student. For example, if my student have better presentation skills and or we can say fair information collected, while preparing that particular seminar activity he collected resources on information from Google or from Wikipedia. Means the resources used for the information collected was not much authentic. Means the student is lying into the fair grade. For better presentation skill, I will give him excellent reward, that is 4 points, and for information collection I will give him fair point, that is 2 points. Total is 4 plus 2, 6. While utilizing different kind of an visual aids for presenting that particular practical activity, if the student is good into using various visual aids present into the classroom environment, and I'll give him 3 marks. Total will be 4 plus 2 plus 3. And class participation, depending upon the performance of the student, I will give him different points, and at the end addition of all the points, then it is the final score of the student for that particular seminar activity. This is the basic format when we are preparing rubric sheet. So this is the basic format of an rubric sheet. When we are using a rubric process for the evaluation of any kind of activity, whether it is in a practical activity, whether it's an assignment or in a tute sheet or minor or major project. First thing is the rubric sheet need to be prepared at an departmental level. For example, if one faculty is prepared a rubric sheet for seminar activity, seminar rubric sheet can be applicable for number of the subjects. So same kind of an rubric sheet must be used when the departmental faculty will evaluate an seminar activity. Second thing need to be considered is once the faculties prepare a rubric sheet, the feedback is to be given by the another departmental faculty for the improvement of an rubric sheet, and improved rubric sheet need to be distributed among the student. The student will give their own feedback regarding that particular practical activity. Means these are the expectations of the student, or your student need to be assessed on the basis of these much of parameter. Once the departmental faculty, the individual faculty and the students agreed on that particular rubric sheet, only then the rubric sheet is to be used at departmental level. Initially when we are preparing a rubric sheet, it's a very time consuming process, but once the rubric sheet is prepared at departmental level, the evaluation process is very much easy. As we have discussed in our previous lecture, that if we divide our class into 3 major components, that is students on time, teachers on time, and third one is the time when the students are performing different kind of an task and faculty is evaluating those tasks. Means the faculty time is totally consumed. First he or she is preparing his lecture, 90% of the time the faculty is delivering the lecture and students are generating the product, and again those products are come to the faculty. And if in your class there are 60 students present and you are evaluating 60 sheets, you need to comment on each and every single sheet regarding your evaluation system. Means why you have got A score and another student got C score. To improve the evaluation process, the rubric sheet need to be distributed among the student. Another advantage of using this kind of an rubric sheet means along with an activity, the rubric sheet is to be distributed among the student. Means when the faculty is given an assignment to the student, along with that particular assignment, the rubric sheet is to be given to the student. Once the student got that particular rubric sheet, they know the various dimension on the basis of which the faculty is going to assess them. Means rubric will provide an instant feedback to the student at the time when they are performing that particular task. So there is an improvement in the quality of the task performed by the students. And when the faculty is evaluating that particular task, there is a objectivity and dimensions are already clear in the mind of the faculty, and evaluation is done on the basis of these particular dimension. So rubric sheet is to be prepared, and there are different types of rubric sheets. That can be holistic type of rubric sheet, general type of an rubric sheet, or task specific type of an rubric sheet. When we are preparing different kind of an rubric sheet, first thing to be done by the faculty is reflecting. Reflecting means what are the various outcomes need to be withdrawn from that particular task, or what are the instructional objective of that particular practical activity. Once you are deciding a activity, you need to be clubbed various knowledge component part of that particular activity and skill component part of that particular activity. Means skill need to be combined under single dimension and knowledge component part need to be combined under individual dimension. There must not be an overlapping of skill and knowledge component part. Second one is, after reflecting, there is a stage known as scale rating. The scale need to be decided at a departmental level. Excellent to poor, good to poor, and what is the percentage weightage given to those different scales. And is the rubric fair and free from biases? For example, in this particular seminar sheet, for excellent grade, the student who will demonstrate the full knowledge by answering all the class questions with explanation and elaboration will cover under excellent grade, and fair category means able to answer to few questions without any elaboration. Means each and every dimension of the rubric sheet need to be clear to the student and described in a well manner so that there is no confusion regarding the grade among that particular dimension. So this is all about the rubric sheet. The basic format of rubric sheet means you classify or distribute the particular activity into number of dimensions. When we are deciding the dimension of that particular rubric sheet, one thing need to be considered, that knowledge component need to be assessed differently and skill components need to be assessed differently. For example, in presentation skills and utilization of the visual aid, these are two different components. Sometimes it is possible that the student communication level is very good, but the use of visual aid is not perfect. In that case, the evaluation need to be done in those different components. And when we are deciding the scale and defining the scale, the description of the scale need to be considered very properly. So the task for the afternoon session is, for any practical activity, when I said any practical activity, choose one of the practical activity, whether it is a lab experiment, industrial visit, field visit, or minor as well as major project. I request all the participants to make group of 3 or 4 participants and choose a single practical activity, whether laboratory work or a project work. It is up to you only. And for that particular practical activity, design a rubric evaluation sheet. For evaluating a rubric evaluation sheet, this format needs to be considered. In the main title, there is a task description. For example, if you have chosen laboratory experiment, your task description will be laboratory experiment in bracket laboratory name, for which particular laboratory experiment you are preparing your rubric sheet. Then that particular practical activity need to be divided into number of dimensions, and again the scale for those dimensions need to be described into detail, and at the end what will be the total score of that particular rubric sheet. Is there any question regarding the task of that afternoon session? I request all the center to divide your participant into groups, possibly 3 to 4. Choose any one of the practical activity, whether it's a laboratory work, industrial visit, field visit, minor project work, or major project work. Depending upon your practical activity, design a rubric sheet in which there is a distribution of the dimension of that particular practical activity along with the rating scale of that particular practical activity. Am I clear to all the centers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, any center, any doubt regarding the task of afternoon session?
No doubt, ma'am.
You are from which center, sir?
From Hassan, ma'am, Government Engineering College, Hassan.
Thank you very much. Any another center? For the rubric development, you need to define different stages of the rubrics. That are what are the various dimension of that particular practical activity, and depending upon your dimension you need to classify the rating scale of that particular practical activity and how you score your student under that particular scale, means the description of all the scales under that particular dimension. So any question regarding this particular session that is on planning and evaluation of a practical work?
No, madam. No, madam. Thank you.
Yes, from any another center, is there any question regarding the session?
Madam, from Hassan, Government.
Yes, sir.
Hassan, Madam, Government Engineering College, Hassan.
Yes, sir.
Madam, somewhere you mentioned in your talk, you have to assign some research project to the UG students. Whether it's possible in the laboratory classes, ma'am?
Can you please repeat, sir?
Ma'am, from Hassan, Government Engineering College, Hassan.
Yes, sir.
Somewhere in the talk you mentioned you have to assign some of the research project to the UG students.
So, sir, you can use any practical activity, whether for laboratory classes or for project work. You need to prepare a rubric sheet. Please divide your participants into number of group, and group can choose any activity. But the activity must be a practical activity.
No, ma'am, my question is from your only talk, previous session talk, practical work talk. In
Yes,
your
you can also choose research project of undergraduate class.
whether it is possible in the for UG students, madam, in the practical classes?
Yes, sir. This is possible?
Oh, madam, can you explain briefly?
Okay,
madam, for UG it is difficult for assigning a research project in the laboratories.
I'm not clear with your question, sir. Can you please repeat?
And in the laboratory classes,
yes, in your laboratory classes,
you told you have to assign some of the research project to the UG students. How come it's possible in the laboratory classes, madam? For PG,
sir, for your UG students, now you can give them industrial experience by providing them different field visits. so that they can have feel for the working environment. From 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th semester student, you can assign different kind of an project. Up to diploma level students, the minor projects can be given to the student that are not of much higher technical expectations.
Okay, madam.